In the summer of 1944, German reconnaissance aircraft photographed what appeared to be a massive American armored division in France. What they actually photographed was rubber, inflatable tanks, trucks, and artillery set up by 1,100 American soldiers who were mostly artists before the war. Their job was not to fight. Their job was to make the Germans believe things that weren't there. This is the true story of the Ghost Army, the most classified unit of World War II. The men recruited for the Ghost Army were not soldiers in the traditional sense. They were painters, sculptors, architects, set designers, and advertising executives, recruited from art colleges with deliberately vague notices that gave almost no details about what they were signing up for. Their job, once assembled, was to put on the greatest theatrical performance in military history, with the German army as their audience. The Ghost Army had 4 weapons, and none of them were guns. Inflatable rubber tanks indistinguishable from real ones. Sound trucks broadcasting the noise of an entire armored division up to 15 miles away. Radio operators who studied and replicated the transmission styles of real units so perfectly that German intelligence couldn't tell the difference. And soldiers in cafes wearing fake unit insignia, quietly feeding false information to anyone who might be listening. Together, they could simulate an army of 40,000 men. Their first major operation helped convince Hitler that D-Day's real target was Pas-de-Calais, not Normandy. Hitler held his Panzer Reserve divisions back for weeks, waiting for an invasion that never came. From there, the Ghost Army toured across Europe like a theater company, setting up phantom divisions, running their illusions for days, then packing up and moving to the next performance. Every detail had to be perfect. If the Germans ever discovered what they were actually looking at, the unit would be wiped out. Operation Viersen in March 1945 was the Ghost Army's greatest performance. They needed to convince the Germans that the Ninth Army would cross the Rhine 10 miles south of its actual crossing point. They inflated over 600 dummy vehicles, ran their sound trucks for multiple nights, and transmitted false radio orders for days. The Germans concentrated their defenses exactly where the Ghost Army wanted them. The Ninth Army crossed the Rhine and met almost no resistance. An estimated 15,000 to 30,000 American lives were saved by the Ghost Army's deceptions across the entire war. The Ghost Army went home in 1945 and said almost nothing, because they couldn't. Their story was classified for 50 years. For half a century, these men attended veteran reunions where they could not speak about what they had actually done. The full declassification came in 1996. Congress awarded them the Congressional Gold Medal in 2022, 77 years after the war ended. Many of them had already died waiting to be recognized. More than 20 missions, more than 20 different Allied units impersonated, a simulated army 40 times their real size, and a U.S. Army analyst who studied their work decades later wrote, "Rarely, if ever, has there been a group of such few men which had so great an influence on the outcome of a major military campaign. They were artists. They used illusion as a weapon, and they proved that sometimes the most powerful thing on a battlefield is making your enemy see something that was never there at all." If you want more untold military secrets, the history books almost buried, subscribe, because the real stories are always stranger than fiction.